It's Monday, June 29th, 2026. I'm Brittany Noble, and here's what's coming up today on the breakdown. Anxiety is common, but it does not have to control your life. We're discussing healthy ways to manage stress and fear today. And today, we will also discuss self care, which is more than a trend. In today's For the Culture segment, we're spotlighting a Black entrepreneur, helping women look good, feel good, and invest in themselves. The breakdown begins now. Breakdown of the headlines and the stories that you need to know about from across Black America. A 10-year-old boy in St. Louis is being charged with first-degree murder and shooting the death of a 7-month-old girl and may be the youngest person charged with murder in the state's history. Missouri law states that juveniles must be 12 years old or older to stand trial as adults, so the 10-year-old will most likely be charged as a juvenile. According to the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, officers were called about a shooting just after 4 o'clock p.m. on Friday. At the scene, they discovered that a 7-month-old named Kiami Parker had been shot. She later died at the hospital. Court documents state that witnesses at the scene told police that the 10-year-old had picked up the gun and shot the infant, and so the boy was taken to custody. Parker's father, 19-year-old Cameron Pownell, was charged with second-degree murder, first-degree child endangerment resulting in the death of a child, and 2 counts of endangering the welfare of a child by creating substantial risk. Investigators say that they learned Pownell had allegedly stored a gun underneath a mattress in the home, and the 10-year-old boy was aware of where that gun was stored. 2 women and a toddler were found dead on Saturday night at a Jackson, Mississippi home. Jackson police responded to a call around 10 o'clock p.m., and upon arrival at the scene, officers located the 3 victims, described as a 26-year-old woman, a 30-year-old woman, and a 2-year-old toddler. The Jackson police officials say all 3 victims had been shot multiple times and died from their injuries. A vehicle, a red 2020 Mitsubishi Mirage belonging to one of the victims, which had been taken during the crime, had been located at a Manhattan park in North Jackson Sunday afternoon. Police are still processing it for evidence. Investigators are still working to both identify and then locate the suspects in the case, but still no further information has been released at this time. And the Black teen in Georgia was gunned down after standing up for a young boy who was being bullied. The Clayton County Police responded to a shooting on June 19th around 6 p.m. in Jonesboro, which is 15 miles south of Atlanta. Police found 16-year-old Jaleel Jones suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. He was rushed to the hospital where he died. Police eventually identified as a suspect and charged 27-year-old Joshua Clinton with Jaleel's murder. While police did not offer much information about the tragedy, Jaleel's family friend Lanice Wilkes says that in an interview that he was just trying to help a friend when that shooting happened.
He was outside trying to help and protect the young boy who needed help at the time. It's so still surreal as far as like knowing that I can't just call and check. He was working towards getting his driver's permit. He was set to be starting school this August. We just want to make sure justice is served and that he has a great home going.
Wilkes has started a GoFundMe to help with the funeral costs. She wrote that Jaleel had just started a job working for his uncle and was looking forward to earning his driver's permit. Clinton remains in the Clayton County Jail without bond. His next court date is set for July 22nd. Well, the son of NBA legend and 2-time champion guard Dwayne Wade is facing multiple charges, including a felony. 24-year-old Zaire Wade was arrested last week in California on suspicion of felony domestic violence, criminal threats, and false imprisonment. The alleged incident happened in Burbank, California, when police were called to the scene around 5:30 in the morning on June 21st amid reports of a woman screaming. When the responders arrived, they allegedly found the woman with lacerations on her face and her body. Police also removed a handgun from the home after the arrest, and Wade was booked and ultimately released on a $50,000 bond. A federal jury has ordered the Detroit club and its owner to pay more than $6 $1.25 million to 3 former employees who spoke out about racism. The verdict capped a years-long legal battle. Employees Maya Hooks, Maria Ferrer, and Charles Lissy said they were punished, all for speaking out about racist treatment of Black guests and workers at the historic private club downtown. The lawsuit claimed the club's owner and former front office manager retaliated against workers who complained about what they believed was race discrimination. Hooks was awarded $7,490 in lost wages, $200,000 for emotional distress, and $350,000 in punitive damages. Tony-winning Black orchestrator Harold Wheeler has died at 82 years old following a lengthy illness. He shaped dozens of Broadway's biggest productions and worked with legends from Nina Simone to Burt Bacharach. Wheeler died on Wednesday, June 24th, at his home in Los Angeles. His career spawned more than 5 decades working on Broadway productions, led music for major television events, and worked with legendary artists, leaving a lasting impact on theater and live entertainment. In 2019, he received a special Tony Award for Lifetime Achievement in the Theater. Many television viewers knew Wheeler as the musical director and composer for Dancing with the Stars, which he led the live orchestra from 2006 until 2013. And Khadija Farrakhan, First Lady of the Nation of Islam, has died. Mother Khadija worked alongside her provocative and charismatic husband, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, for decades, helping lead the religious and socio-political movement, which endorses Black self-resilience. The two were married for 72 years, lived on the south side of Chicago, and her death came only 7 months after her 90th birthday. Her family said that she will be remembered as a devoted follower and a precious soul with a sweet heart. Coming up next on The Breakdown, right after the break, stress and anxiety can affect both our minds and even our bodies. But after the break, we're sharing practical strategies to manage fear, reduce anxiety, and protect your mental health. And for more news headlines and in-depth coverage 24 hours a day, please check out the Black Star Network. We want to be your source for stories that matter to our community. We'll be right back.
With medicine and science under attack, I want to keep you and your family informed and healthy. I'm Dr. Ebony Hilton, and I knew at the age of 8 that I wanted to be a doctor. So I studied hard and became the first African-American female anesthesiologist hired at the Medical University of South Carolina since its opening in 1824. And I always say I was made into a doctor, but I was born to be a mom. And as a new mom, wife, sister, daughter, and friend, I understand how frightening a medical crisis can be. I care for individuals on some of the worst days of their lives, and it's my mission to provide you with a safe space to gain clarity on issues affecting your mind, body, and soul. I recognize that there are health disparities, particularly as it pertains to race, and I want to help bridge the gap between you and your healthcare providers. Join me every Thursday for Second Opinion on the Black Star Network, where each week I'll invite experts from various medical fields to share the latest health news. We'll discuss topics such as the vaccine debate, mental and sexual health, medical bias, infertility, menopause, andropause, nutrition, and aging. Together with my medical colleagues, we aim to provide you with a second opinion. Don't miss it, Thursdays only on the Black Star Network.
If in this country right now, you have people get up in the morning and the only thing they can think about is how many people they can hurt, and they got the power, that's the time for mourning.
For better or worse, what makes America special, it's that legal system that's supposed to protect minorities from the tyranny of the majority.
We are at a point of a moral emergency. We must raise a voice of outrage. We must raise a voice of compassion. And we must raise a voice of unity.
We are not in a crisis of party versus party. We are in a crisis of civilization, a human rights crisis, and a crisis of democracy itself. And guess what? You've been chosen to make sure that those that would destroy, those that would hate, don't have the final say. and they don't ultimately win.
I'm Risa Colbert, and you're watching the Black Star Network.
Welcome back to the breakdown. Well, the weight of the world seems to weigh heavily on our shoulders at times, and simply telling ourselves that we shouldn't have to worry about the problems that we're facing doesn't always make it go away. Dr. Allison Hotz, a certified rehabilitation psychologist, is here with us today to help us understand how to overcome stress and fear and anxiety. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. We are very glad to have you. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into this work?
Sure. I've always been around disability. I think my entire life of almost 35 years. I'm a biracial person. My mother, she's passed. She was African American. My father is white. And so I think I've grown up a lot with kind of the dissonance between two worlds. And I wanted to understand the psychological components of what it means to navigate racial-based fatigue and stress, especially within the Black community. And that's what drew me to this work. And I learn something every day when I meet a patient within our community. I feel very privileged to listen to lived experiences, to traumas, and try to find practical, culturally informed solutions to their distress, to my distress.
What kind of things are you learning?
Sometimes I hear that resiliency is not enough, that there is a pot of strength that not only comes from the individual themselves, but it's more of that ancestral wisdom that people draw from. It's our history. And I learned that we carry our stress generationally. Mm-hmm. And for Black folks in this country, often people will think, or they'll conceptualize, that weight is up here in the mental, but I believe it's a full body process. It's physiological, but also psychological. And when you add in fear, stress, and anxiety, that becomes very heavy. Mm-hmm. And then it is transmitted generationally.
Let's talk about that fear, stress, and anxiety. Can you break it down for us, the differences?
I think there are some stark differences. There are actually some commonalities. I want to talk about the root, systemic disparities. If you put all three together, when someone's afraid, right? When you have this low grade chronic stress, for example, within our community, mm-hmm. We experience distress related to economic precarity, for example. I think I grew up with the mindset, I have enough, but it's not enough. Right. Mm-hmm. So that induces some hypervigilance, which then induces anxiety or a fear response. So you're always on go. You're always worried about your stability, mm-hmm. survival, and what's going to happen next for myself, for my children. So then it makes stress chronic. And that has perilous effects on one's physical well-being.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk more about the chronic stress that you're seeing showing up in the lives of your patients?
Specifically, when we look at the intersection of disability and Black racial identity, that's what I really study. That's what I work with every day. Chronic stress has a direct correlation to physical wellness, meaning if we're under chronic stress and we already have this, it's a healthy level of paranoia, this aversion to help seeking from a psychological professional, a medical professional, that has a rippling effect into acquired disability across one's lifespan. We're seeing younger ages of stroke, younger ages of amputation, because the chronicity of stress, the desire to protect oneself from harm, it actually leads to functional changes The body does hold on to our lived experience, and that chronicity of stress can also play with how we cope. And that's a big gap. The Black community we don't have access to culturally informed providers. So then if we don't have that access, there's a dearth of access. We're living with chronic stress, which leads to physiological and psychological changes. We live in our own mental warfare, essentially. The body follows suit, and then our children, they see that modeled. And that's why I think I was drawn to this work. How do I find culturally grounded coping strategies?
Now that's what we want to know.
Yeah.
What are some coping strategies that we can use? What are some techniques, some things we can do to help deal with and overcome these emotions that we have?
My first recommendation to anyone in my community, a lot of people will say this is naive, but it's true. There has been a lot of research about sister circles, but specifically, I like to describe it to my clients, to my patients. Instead of taking a pill by mouth, use your community as medicine.
Okay.
Often it can be free. There's been a lot of research lately about the healing properties and the efficacy of using your beautician and your barber as a safe space. You build rapport with that person, you go back if the service is what it needs to be, and using that platform to share things that you wouldn't share with your partner or with a coworker. Religion and spirituality is also important. That's another derivative of community. It's something that we hold very close to ourselves as a culture. Getting involved more than just attending church and participating, but finding groups, building relationships so that you have safe spaces that also have that added layer of protection in with your spirituality or religious beliefs. I always prescribe that because leaning into our village, and it's just ours, right? It's not a weakness. It actually connects us to who we are. It's our ancestry, and we're able to kind of key into that wisdom. Often I see folks that are dealing with the physical consequences of racial battle fatigue, and a lot of that is imposed by the workplace, racism, prejudice, discrimination. Setting systemic boundaries specifically. We can say that we want to protect our peace, right? We make that intentional, it's an action. But specifically saying no to racial labor. And let me just be specific. If you have a coworker or a supervisor, whomever, that wants you to explain your Blackness, why you showed up to work one day looking different with a different hairstyle, why you wore an outfit that you've never worn before, right? Just changing things up according to how you feel and your identity. Saying no to that and playing the racial labor sort of politics in the workplace, it will help resolve a lot of distress on the job, because that is one of the most compromising positions that we are in as a culture that leads to psychological decompensation.
Do you have any other advice for us about maybe overcoming intrusive thoughts?
Intrusive thoughts are tricky because often in Eurocentric therapy, psychology wasn't created for us. And so I'm always excited when I meet Black psychologists, and for us to kind of learn about what it means to throw ourselves into this work and make meaning out of it. Intrusive thoughts are rational, in my opinion, for Black folks, because they derive from the systemic disparities that we have to survive and battle with every day. The gold standard for intrusive thoughts is actually rewiring one's thinking, your cognitive distortions, whether they're rational or irrational, and accessing a list. I'm happy to share this list. I have compiled culturally informed therapists, collectives actually, that can work effectively with Black folks in this country on a sliding scale, on insurance, self-pay. Having that nuanced care can help to eliminate kind of the helplessness that we can feel within the realm of mental health.
How can we connect with you and then connect with those resources as well?
Yes, I have a direct email address. I'm happy to say it here. Please reach out to me. It's AHOTZ at carecircletogether.org.
Okay.
And also my Instagram is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yep. I want a website, Instagram, social, all of the things.
You want all of it? And I'm sorry, the last part of my email is .com. I had to change it.
Okay.
And my Instagram is AHOTZ. I made it easier for everyone.
Okay. And is that for Facebook and X too?
Just Instagram right now.
Okay. And tell me one more time, what's the Instagram?
Yeah. Lowercase a, HOTZ.
All right. Well, Dr. Hotz, we want to thank you so much for bringing a wealth of knowledge that we absolutely need here on The Breakdown. And we hope that you'll join us again soon.
I'm happy to be here, and I hope you all have a restorative Monday.
Thank you so very much. I hope you have a great day as well.
Take care. Bye.
You too. Goodbye. All right, folks, we still have plenty ahead on the other side of the break. Please stay with us. You are watching The Breakdown.
They said the quiet part out loud. Black votes are a threat, so they erased them. After the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act in 2013, Republican legislatures moved fast. New voter ID laws, polling place shutdowns, purges of black voters from the rolls. Trump's Justice Department didn't stop it, they joined in. In 2018, his DOJ backed Ohio's voter purge system, a scheme that disproportionately erased black voters. Their goal, erase black votes and political power. Yeah, that happened. These are the kinds of stories that we cover every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Subscribe on YouTube and download the Black Star Network app. Support fact-based independent journalism that centers African Americans and the issues that matter to our community.
If in this country right now, you have people get up in the morning and the only thing they can think about is how many people they can hurt, and they got the power, that's the time for mourning.
For better or worse, what makes America special, it's that legal system that's supposed to protect minorities from the tyranny of the majority.
We are at a point of a moral emergency. We must raise a voice of outrage. We must raise a voice of compassion. And we must raise a voice of unity.
We are not in a crisis of party versus party. We are in a crisis of civilization, a human rights crisis, and a crisis of democracy itself. And guess what? You've been chosen to make sure that those that would destroy, those that would hate, don't have the final say, and they don't ultimately win.
What's happening? This is your man, Motown recording artist Kim. You are watching the Black Star Network.
Welcome back. Well, many people say that beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and that's certainly true for a Black entrepreneur named Mary E. He's on a mission to help women look good and feel good and embrace their soft girl era. We want to thank you so much for joining us on The Breakdown.
Hello, Brittany. I'm not able to hear you. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Well, I do want you to hear me. So let's take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, welcome to The Other Side of Change, only on the Black Star Network and hosted by myself, Bria Baker, and my good sis, Jamira Burley. We are just two millennial women tackling everything at the intersection of politics, gender, and pop culture.
And we don't just settle for commentary. This is about solution-driven dialogue to get us to the world as it could be and not just as it is.
Watch us on the Black Star Network, so tune in to The Other Side of Change.
Violent white supremacy is, quote, the most persistent and lethal threat in the homeland.
The greatest terrorist threat to the homeland is the homegrown violence stream, including hate crime committed on behalf of some kind of white supremacist ideology.
They are coming after everything in Black America. MAGA and Donald Trump are specifically targeting Black America. They are going after the money. Attack Black Lives Matter. Attack critical race theory. Attack woke, DEI. MAGA wants to defund Black America. This is a perfect example of their desire to completely degrade and de-emphasize Black people.
Hi, I'm Swing Cash, Basketball Hall of Famer, and you're watching Black Star Network.
All right, welcome back to the breakdown. And in case you missed it, okay, I believe that we have Mary E on the line. Mary, are you there?
Yes, hello.
And can you hear me okay?
I can. Yes, everything's good now.
Okay, wonderful, Mary. Could you tell us a little bit about your business?
Yes. So currently it is Lip and Lash by Mary E. I am currently doing skincare, also lip care as well. When it first began, we did do, of course, lash extensions, things of that nature. But that got pushed to the side due to just the low amount of people who really wanted that product. But as of right now, we are doing lip glosses and body butter. We also have some other products that will be coming and launching soon. But yes, so this is what I do. This has been a business that was birthed out of the pandemic, of course, like so many others. And I am a huge fan of smelling good. I love fragrances. I love perfumes. I love body sprays. And of course, I love lip gloss. So that's just one of the things that I really, really, really wanted to get into. Did my research, found what could really help with also dry skin that I was experiencing as well as my son. And here we are, 6 years later, still going, still trying to get things up off the ground and really get out there. I am huge on just feedback and things of that nature. So I have a lot of different people who try the products, tell me how it could work for them, what I could possibly do better. And I just really just want to do something for my family that will leave a legacy, and then also bring in revenue and income, and help us further and do all the things that we are wanting to do. So yeah, I'm very excited about it. I picked it up, put it down. I picked it up and put it down. But this time I've decided to go all the way. So, yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit more about what was happening during the pandemic that led you to launch this company?
Absolutely. So I can really just say it first started out of boredom. And it would actually, I had started doing the lip gloss and lashes before the pandemic hit. And I said, okay, I just want to, start my own business and maybe see how I can, gain some extra money. But once the pandemic came and things were just uncertain at that time, I did have a job. There was no information or anything given to me saying that I wouldn't have one, but it was just so much going on and everything was so uncertain. I definitely wanted to have a backup, and so that's when I continued on with it and really took it serious. And when I start looking into the skincare, that definitely was a turn because obviously the name of the company is Lip and Lash, and that's what it was for, lips and lashes. And
Mhm.
so I really just I started to buy lotions, of course, as I always have, body butters, and they just weren't good enough for me. And I'll just, just be honest. And so, like I said, I just, out of boredom, went and just kind of did some searching, researching just to see what would be better. Maybe if I just added something else, maybe to the lotions and to the creams and things that I was already using, and that did not work. My son, who had eczema at the time, and had the scratches and all the different things that come
Mhm.
with that skin condition, of course, the things that we were using for him were not working. And so I just decided to come up with my own concoction, I guess you can say, my own ingredients and recipes. And it started working for us. And I gave the samples out, and people really, really, really liked it. They loved how it left their skin. As far as the lip gloss, of course, us ladies love to have popping lips and all those different things. And so people like the shine on the gloss. And I just was getting so much good feedback. And I just really started to really take it serious and move forward with it. And this is where we are today.
What do you think is the difference with your body butter?
So my body butter, it does have a shine to it, and that sheen that you would need and that you would like on the skin. But I will say it also leaves you hydrated once it penetrates through your skin. Sometimes a lot of products that you get will just sit at the top and be a barrier, or be at the top, or whatever the case may be, of your skin, and will not really get down and really make you soft and feel moisturized and not itchy and scratchy, or 2 or 3 hours after you've put on your regular lotions and your oils, you're still not feeling and seeing a difference. And so I really believe that my ingredients and all the different things that I use really help with nourishing the skin and just
Mhm.
feeling good. One of the best things I can say is you getting out the shower, and especially at night, getting out the
Mhm.
shower, putting on that cream, and getting under those clean sheets and getting
Mhm.
ready for bed. It is just such a good and cozy feeling.
Mm.
And so that is just one of the things that I really, really like. I love to lounge. I love to, just be in my home and being comfortable. And what
Mhm.
better way than to do that is up under your jammies or whatever you got on. You're feeling good. You're feeling good about yourself, but also smelling good too. So, yeah.
So I know how easy it is to talk people into using your body butter and maybe even your lip gloss as well.
Yes.
But what about the eyelashes? For women that don't normally wear eyelashes, maybe why should they start or consider yours?
I will say this: eyelashes just really enhance your look. They don't have to be dramatic. They don't have to be over the top. They don't have to look exactly like extensions. There's so many different ways, so many different things. I can just say it makes you just look more radiant. And
Mm.
so with that, yes, with that, I do feel like those lashes just really just give you that extra oomph and that extra push around the eyes. Of course, making contact with people, speaking with people, wherever you are. If you're just out and about, a lot of people will look you, in your face, and a lot of people do eye contact. And I really believe it's just those lashes, it just really makes us pop, and it just really makes us look more, like I said, more radiant and more beautiful. And it just really puts a different look in our faces. So that's one of the main reasons I would say that you can wear lashes. And again, they do not have to be long. They don't have to be extreme or anything like that. I know it's a jokes about women with lashes and things of that nature, but there's so many different lengths, so many
Mhm.
different ways to do extensions where they don't look fake or they don't look artificial. They really do look like they're coming out of your own eyelids. So Yeah, I love lashes. That's one of my big things. I don't have them on right now because I have on my glasses 'cause I need to see because I'm working. But when I do wear them, which is very often, it just, again, like I said, it just gives you that extra oomph to your look.
I love the way that you are just accentuating natural beauty, if you will, with the products that you have. Tell us, how can we begin to embrace the beauty that we have within?
Absolutely. First of all, it's not looking at others and looking at the media to be to feel as if you have to be a part of what they are, or to look how they look, or to reach that type of status. I am huge on natural beauty, and the reason why I'm huge on natural beauty is because, of course, there may be others with the same testimony as myself. Growing up, dealing with certain things, dealing with weight issues, dealing with certain things around my body that weren't as normal, would be the norm for others. I had to really learn as growing up and becoming a teenager that I was going to be different, that I'm going to be who I am, who God made me to be. And I just started to accept everything about myself. And so that is one of the things that I think that comes with natural beauty, and accepting who you are, number one, not looking for validation through anyone else, and really figuring out your style, how you want to look, how you want to present yourself to the world. And I really believe that is huge on, specifically for Black women. We get so many things that are thrown on us. We get so many different um, thoughts of people that have so many things to say about us. And I really believe that the reason why so many Black women have been able to go beyond that barrier and really be successful in things in life is because they have embraced and accepted who they are. So natural beauty is all about who you believe you are, and you standing and believing and trusting that whatever you do and however you present yourself, that you're okay with it, and it doesn't matter what anybody else has to say about you. I'm huge on natural beauty. So yeah.
Well, I'm so glad that you shared that information with us, because it's words we need to know and we need to
Yeah.
live by. So we appreciate that. Tell us how we can get a hold of your products to enhance our natural beauty.
Absolutely. Yes. So I do have an Instagram, which is Lip and Lash. It's not on my card right here, but I do have an Instagram, and it's Lip and Lash.
Okay.
I do have a Facebook, of course, that is Mary E. Lip and Lash. And then also I have an email, which is Lip and Lash 20@gmail.com. You can always send DMs. Website is coming soon, or recreation of the website is coming soon, so that everybody can go in and order all products and things that they would like. And my media will have all things that are coming up. Like I said, ways to order. And you will also see different testimonials of people who have tried the products to help you, to persuade you to come on and try Lip and Lash.
All right. Well, Mary E., thank you so much for stopping by and telling us more about your company here on The Breakdown. We wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we still have more ahead today on The Breakdown. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey y'all, welcome to The Other Side of Change, only on the Black Star Network and hosted by myself, Rhea Baker, and my good sis, Jamira Burley. We are just two millennial women tackling everything at the intersection of politics, gender, and pop culture.
And we don't just settle for commentary. This is about solution-driven dialogue to get us to the world as it could be and not just as it is.
Watch us on the Black Star Network, so tune in to The Other Side of Change.
Violent white supremacy is, quote, the most persistent and lethal threat in the homeland.
The greatest terrorist threat to the homeland is the homegrown violence stream, including hate crime committed on behalf of some kind of white supremacist ideology.
They are coming after everything in Black America. MAGA and Donald Trump are specifically targeting Black America. They are going after the money. Attack Black Lives Matter. Attack critical race theory. Attack woke, DEI. MAGA wants to defund Black America. This is a perfect example of their desire to completely degrade and de-emphasize Black people.
Hi, I'm Swing Cash, Basketball Hall of Famer, and you're watching Black Star Network.
In our Black and Missing segment, we're asking for your help finding Leah Kendrick. She was last seen June 20th, 2026 in McDougall Terrace, that is east of Durham, North Carolina. The circumstances surrounding her disappearance are still unknown. If you have any information about where the 14-year-old could be, please contact police at 919-560-4427. Roland Martin Unfiltered, the Trump administration has tossed out the anti-discrimination rule governing the disaster aid. Beginning this week, the Department of Homeland Security will no longer insist that the state and local governments go out of their way to ensure that when they give out federal disaster aid, they do not inadvertently do so in ways that disadvantage racial minorities.
Donald Trump's administration has tossed out the anti-discrimination rule governing disaster aid. Beginning next week, the Department of Homeland Security will no longer insist that state and local governments go out of their way to ensure that when they give out federal disaster aid, they do not inadvertently do so in ways that disadvantage racial minorities. While DHS will still prohibit discrimination intentionally, it says local governments no longer have to consider if their disaster relief efforts unintentionally further racial inequality. One example, last year marked the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. After the storm, DHS distributed disaster relief funds based on the property value of what was destroyed, which meant that rich white neighborhoods and business districts quickly rebuilt. Meanwhile, parts of the poor Black Lower Ninth Ward still have not been rebuilt to this day. Also keep in mind, that was the Biden administration. They were going to advance a lawsuit as it relates to in Texas, where they received $1 billion after a hurricane there, and they chose not to give that money to Harris County. The Biden administration laid out that as a result, they were hurting African Americans and Latinos. ProPublica did a huge story on this. What did Donald Trump's administration do? They completely got rid of that particular lawsuit. What this goes to show you, Matt, is that this administration absolutely, positively, without a doubt, is anti-Black. They do not care about Black people or Latinos and people of color. And so for the folks who vote for them, understand you're literally voting against your own interests if you're supporting this white nationalist administration.
And it's going to be buttressed in the legal filings by the Supreme Court's recent decision in the voting rights cases, talking about discrimination and basically that it's got to be intentional discrimination. What's almost certainly going to happen now, despite the fact that they're completely different, substantive areas of the law, is you're going to see citations to this idea that unless it's intentionally discriminatory, you won't be able to divine someone's intent as it relates to why, contingency A of citizens got money and contingency B did not get as much money or a proportional amount of money. And what it's going to ultimately come down to is it's going to give further discretion for this administration to do exactly what you said, which is disadvantage Black people, but to do it under the guise of, some other pretextual reason why they're not given the same amount of money. And what you're seeing this administration do is attack every aspect of life in this same regard, but try to couch it almost in this this legal, argument that they're getting from the highest court in the land, which is that it's okay if you're not, intentionally discriminating. But the problem with that is it's just like the deliberate indifference standard or other legal standards I deal with all the time, where it's very obvious what's happening. It's just enshrouded in different language. And what they're going to say now is, oh, there's some other reason why the money is not being allocated appropriately, when we know what it is that they either don't care about the people who are receiving that money, or they're abjectly being racist. And I don't think you're wrong about the administration continuing to signal to us which along those groups it lies.
And listen, we have been building this case and just story after story, Nicole, on what it is these folks are doing. And this is simply the latest one. You take, of course, the Supreme Court decision regarding temporary protected status for Haitians. You have a Supreme Court decision, 6-3, where that could put 350,000 Haitians and 6,100 Syrians in jeopardy. Now, here's the thing that's crazy here. You have, and if you want to understand how MAGA thinks, you want to understand why they're thinking this way, all you have to do is listen to that violent racist Megyn Kelly, who showed her ass when she said this.
For over a dozen years. Go home. Get out. We know our country's better than yours. That's because we filled it with our work ethic and our culture and our values. You being here only dilutes it for us, those who built it and live it. And half of you people, more than half, you won't assimilate. We don't want you. We don't care if you're offended. Get out. Go home. Go back to fucking Haiti. Sorry. I'm thinking about our friends in Ohio who've been dealing with these TPS Haitians for years now, who are drunk driving all over their towns and killing people. This is the whole cats and dogs thing. Like, they don't want to live like Americans live. And this was supposed to be it was supposed to be temporary help. And it's turned into another backdoor way of allowing someone permanent residency here. And they take advantage of all of our public services. And
let's just be real clear. Megyn Kelly is a fucking idiot. And the reason she's a fucking idiot is because she just sat there and repeated the bullshit lie about cats and dogs. That was a story made up by a white woman who actually had her dog returned. It's a bullshit lie. But not only that, it also shows you how this airhead so-called lawyer hasn't even read shit. Okay? She went on and on and on, Nicole, about, our culture. Heifer, let me explain something to you. The largest land purchase in the United States was a Louisiana purchase, which was a result of slave revolt in Haiti in 1804. You talk about culture? You don't have fucking culture, Megyn Kelly, without Haitians. What the hell do you think New Orleans is? We can go on and on and on and literally break down the culture that Haitians have provided to the United States. Her no dancing ass needs to understand that as well. But then she cited, oh my God, the people in Springfield, they've been dealing with these people and they've been drunk driving. Really? Do y'all recall 60 Minutes when they went to Springfield, Ohio, and they talked to a white man, CEO of a company, and this is what he said about those Haitians.
It started slowly. We had an application pool that was a little bit different.
People coming to work here.
People looking for jobs. What he's welding here again are welded axle components.
Jamie McGregor is the CEO of McGregor Metal, which makes welded parts for the auto and farm industries. Right now, about 10% of his workforce is Haitian, over 30 employees.
I wish I had 30 more. Our Haitian associates come to work every day. They don't have a drug problem. They'll stay at their machine. They'll achieve their numbers. They are here to work. And so in general, that's That's a stark difference from what we're used to in our community.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe y'all didn't catch what he said. What he was really saying is, these white people here, their ass don't come to work on time. They don't work hard. He said, we're not used to that. Roll it again.
It started slowly. We had an application pool that was a little bit different.
People coming to work here.
People looking for jobs. What he's welding here again are welded axle components.
Jamie McGregor is the CEO of McGregor Metal, which makes welded parts for the auto and farm industries. Right now, about 10% of his workforce is Haitian, over 30 employees.
I wish I had 30 more. Our Haitian associates come to work every day. They don't have a drug problem. They'll stay at their machine. They'll achieve their numbers. They are here to work. And so in general, that's a stark difference from what we're used to in our community.
That's a stark difference than what we're used to in our community, Nicole. He's saying these white folk don't work as hard as the Haitians.
You know, first of all, for this white woman to say that her and her people are the ones that built this country is laughable, because we know that the United States was built on the backs of Black people, immigrants, people of color, everybody but white people. We did the hard labor to get us where we are today. And the foundation of America was built on immigrants. That's why we have the Statue of Liberty in New York. So now for her to sit here and say that we want them to leave, that we don't want them here, that is absolutely not true. And America is going to see what will happen if we start really trying to get rid of all of our protected immigrants. This country will really go downward, especially economically. We need everybody to thrive. And one thing that we know is that capitalism needs people at the underclass to point and hate each other for it to thrive. Now they want us to blame Syrians and Haitians for job loss and all these crazy things. But really what we need to be doing is coming together and fighting against the people at the top that want us to be fighting against each other. We need our Haitians, we need our Syrians, we need all of our immigrants here in this country.
Well, coming up tonight on Roland Martin Unfiltered, Roland will examine the Supreme Court rulings issued today, a lawsuit filed by Black Mississippi farm workers who are suing a farmer who they say paid them less than the white South African guest workers brought into the country by Trump and Elon Musk. And he'll also talk to Georgia's Black conservative radio host, Shelley Winter, about his endorsement of Jon Ossoff. That's all tonight, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern, only on the Black Star Network. We appreciate you for joining us today on The Breakdown, and that will do it for us on the show today, but we'll see you tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Black Star Network.